Yes, guys, welcome back to Nuclear Reaction Faction. We're back looking at Cyraxx's Horrifying History, the full documentary by Turkey Tom. I'll link it in the description. Thanks for the video, mate, and let's get popping.
I should be signed, but it's hard to get signed when record labels constantly tear you down and bash on you.
For context, this guy thinks he's a musician. He's really not. He thinks he's been signed to labels. He hasn't ever been signed to a real label. And he thinks the reason he won't get signed now is because of his looks, which is BS, because most producers, you don't even know what they look like. He just chooses to plaster his face everywhere.
He makes yet another live stream complaining about how the only reason he doesn't get signed and make it in the music industry is because of his looks, and follows it up by retiring the name Shadowblade so that he can start anew. Right around.
Wait, that name, it not only sounds, but is spelt and looks like a 10-year-old's Xbox Live name.
Around this time, Linkin Park vocalist Chester Bennington tragically passes away.
Oh man, rest in peace, bro. For real, like, all jokes aside, like, you're a genius. Like, Linkin Park are amazing.
And despite knowing very little about what actually happened...
Oh, don't they, am I right in saying that? So they've got a black geezer, as the new vocalist, or a mixed race guy. I can't remember, but that's interesting.
He didn't hesitate to chime in and act as if his death had something to do with bullying. His way of paying tribute to Chester was to release a Linkin Park mashup dubstep album. It doesn't seem like this project ever came to fruition, and his frustration and rage kept building up until it hit a fever pitch. On the 24th of July, he made another rant on labels, and an ego-driven psychosis was replacing the usual self-victimizing tone in his rants. It read, "To every label out there talking shit, I want you to know, yes, I may lose these battles, but in the end, this war..."
One. In the end, this war will be won. I'm Chance Wilkinson. If you see, you should see the whole series. He's flipping hilarious. He talks like a WWE wrestler. Yeah. No label is out there talking about you, bro. You don't even have trolls yet, let alone like a label talking about you. What are you on about? Like, you're just talking to yourself in like an echo chamber of your own making.
I will win, and I won't stop or back down. You guys think you can touch me? Well, guess what? You were wrong. There's a reason they call me
Bro.
God. I can't.
Okay, one, no one wants to touch you, mate. I'm not being funny. I'm not trying to bully you or anything. No one wants to touch you. Two, who calls you demigod?
Can't be touched by your negativity or your bullshit. So
if you're not touched by the negativity like that you've made up in your own head, what's with the capital letters, bro?
just know this. In the end, I will win this war and make it in the music industry and shut you all up for good. What's shocking is that this was actually prior to him being discovered by trolls whatsoever. Even without any opposition, Cyraxx was deadlocked in a war with no one but himself, and it somehow looked like he was losing. A day later, he publicly pondered retiring from music altogether, but he proceeded to delve into his lonely state after breaking up once again. In his post about it, he complains that no girl is cool with him living in his mom's house to take care of her. After disappointment in his music career, his new dream is to be a professional drift racer, and the only thing stopping him from doing so is his lack of a driver's license. You see, this is how life kept things fair. Chris Chan couldn't get a girlfriend but had a driver's license, while Cyraxx was the exact opposite. The reason he gave for losing his passion for making music was Chester's passing, and his new interests were making art books and calendars. August starts out in an interesting way, with Cyraxx telling a story about how
he was just completely virtue signaling. Let me get a chance to read that post.
Cyraxx was the exact opposite. The reason he gave for losing his passion...
Right, let's break this down, yeah? As much as I hate to say this, but ever since Chester Bennington's death, it's been hard to ever even record a song without breaking down. So I'll be taking a break from music for a while and focusing on releasing some art books and calendars for you guys till I feel like I'm ready to pick things back up. Bro, you never picked it up in the first place, and you've put it down a million times. How can you put down something you haven't picked up? I just don't get you, bro.
For making music was Chester's passing, and his new interests were making art books and calendars. August starts out in an interesting way, with Cyraxx telling a story about how his good friend Jason David Frank, the Green Power Ranger, was almost killed by someone who went to Comic-Con with 4 pistols intending to assassinate him. There are many far-fetched stories in Cyraxx's history, but this one is possibly the most difficult to understand. There's no telling if he ever met Jason David Frank in his life, nor is there an apparent reason for him to lie about this. Of all the people to claim you're friends with, why the Green Power Ranger?
What? Yeah, that's a good question, man. I forgot how old and cheesy that. Well, obviously it didn't look old and cheesy at the time, but when I was a kid watching Power Rangers, like I thought it looked all like futuristic and high tech. It looks like a Doctor Who episode from the 70s.
While the story about the guy with 4 guns at Comic-Con is verifiably true, since many third parties have reported it, I can't make out why Cyraxx is particularly interested. Chance's behavior patterns were becoming increasingly explicit with every mood swing and episode. He repeatedly told his life story to make people feel sorry for him, while cyclically announcing new albums and new retirements to try and get people to ask him not to retire. Another recurrent theme is him accusing people of hacking him whenever he was caught doing something unseemly. For example, on August 16th, he accuses Tiffany of hacking him and making...
Let's read that. Let's break that down. Okay, guys, I'm back. But to be honest, I've been on and off in tears all damn week because my ex Tiffany decided to ruin the relationship. I had each relationship is like a ship. I had with the love of my life, aka since she hacked me and made me look like I was cheating when I wasn't. I can't read this. It's giving me a grand mal seizure. And now Abby's oh, bro, use an apostrophe, please. Parents think I'm the bad guy. Hen, I'm not. Use another apostrophe. And Abby doesn't want to be with me, but her parents does want to be with me, but her parents refuse to let me explain myself. Mate, there is no explaining. There is no explaining to do. They don't like you. Like, get over it. Like, not everyone's parents are gonna like you.
It looked like he was cheating on his then girlfriend, Abby, even making a video to bring the point home. All of this while starting livestream after livestream, wherein he rubbed his head and picked things off of his lips. On the 20th of August, a strange police report is made when one of Chance's neighbors decides to call for a welfare check after Chance's ex-boyfriend apparently threatened Sally over the phone. I'm not sure what to make of this or what it's supposed to mean, but it sure looks like what I said. Besides his extensive use of what appears
no slate in him. It's just I didn't expect that. Like, he didn't. I know it's like being what's the word I'm looking for? I know you shouldn't be judgmental and judge a book by its cover, but I really didn't peg him down for being homosexual. That's interesting.
To be a rap battle app, which he claims is where he now releases his songs through. Not much happens during the following period. Besides complaining about the lookism of record labels, he now lumps in promoters as being to blame for his lack of success. While not mentioning having broken up with Abby, he starts posting things as if he was now single and looking for someone. What might have been happening is that on Facebook, there's this feature that allows you to select people whom you don't want seeing your posts. And Chance was using this as a way to cheat in plain sight, I guess. He then holds a meet and greet in Akron for his fan base to congregate and meet up with him so he can give them autographs. Funnily enough, it looks like he didn't show up for his own event. After looking for metal bands in Akron to be the vocalists of and failing, he tries his hand at selling digitally traced and filtered stock images as if they were original artwork. More and more, I'm thinking that his incessant complaints about people stealing his art are as a result of people pointing out that his art is identical to all of these already existing stock images. So he resorts to claiming they're the ones copying his stuff. He grew increasingly shameless about what kind of art he claimed was his own. For example, this one. I'm pretty sure this is some kind of foot fetish fan art. Meanwhile, this is just a famous picture of Audrey Hepburn he was convinced he could pawn off for 40 bucks. He even made up some lore to go with his lies, talking about how rich brats were removing his watermarks with Photoshop and making money off of it. Never, not even once, does he actually even name anyone that's supposedly doing this. On September 12th, he decided to hold a memorial for not 9/11, but 9/11, which I guess is September 1st, 2001. Never forget. The Facebook post he made about it had attached to it images of the car he designed in his drifting game, emblazoned with an American flag and 911 on the hood. I'm pretty sure the 911 logo in-game is supposed to designate a police car, but what matters is the intent. A day later, he drops a heavier cover of Evanescence's song Going Under. From the middle to the end of the month, he begins...
Just don't, mate. Don't cover songs, please. Don't ruin them.
To tease potentially retiring again due to his computer being broken, rendering him unable to produce any artwork. As October starts, we can assume he's been kicked off one of the hundreds of bands he's joined, despite having no discernible skills as a music artist, because he makes a post complaining about people not being serious about their music and wanting to be like other bands instead of being original. I personally take this to mean that his offbeat Benadryl flows weren't his bandmate's cup of tea.
Benadryl flows. If you don't know what Tom's talking about, Benadryl, if you take it in high doses, it's a deliriant, and he's saying that Cyraxx is delirious.
In order to give himself an air of importance, he follows it up with another post blatantly lying. Sitting here in tears, and I'm on the verge of quitting music for good because I just got told in an email by the head A&R for Warner Brothers Records that if I were a pro in...
Okay, look, I could be wrong, but I'm guessing they sent him a template, like turning him down. Someone really low down in the company had to sift through the emails sent him a template straight away, just looking at the state of how he types and like his punctuation and grammar, and and he's just gonna try and spin it as if it's to be what he looks like when they don't even know what he looks like. Bro, you're not in contact with anyone important at
music.
Warner Brother
No
Records.
one want to remember me or my music because I don't look like all the others who are successful, and because I don't follow trends or anything like the huge successful ones do. This is what I face every fucking day of my life, is like this. A day later, in order to get some engagement his way, he dedicates another car design to the LGBTQ community in the wake of then President Trump's ban on transgenders being in the military. For some odd reason, Cyraxx thought that a Roman Empire looking flag on the hood matched the rainbow flag design that it had on its side. In a stunning turn of events, he found himself a new girlfriend, Maria, before he even broke up with Abby, which seems to have
Let's read it. I'm sorry. Tom has to pack so much into a video that he can't read everything. Like, otherwise his videos will be 10 hours long. So I'm gonna read it because it's in multiple parts. You know, they say that I can't even read this flipping writing already. You know, they say there is that one you're meant to be with no matter what. Well, I found mine. Her name is Maria Jones, and she is my whole life. And to be honest, I'm finally happy with her because she doesn't judge me and is open with, as well as honest and faithful to me, just as I am with her. And fair warning, anyone who tries to get between us and break us up, don't, because you will be... So I don't even know why I read that. It's just
taking place 2 days later. In his post about the breakup, he mentions that he has no idea why her parents disapproved of him as a boyfriend for her daughter, though I think it may have been him publicly posting about his relationship with other girls, assuming this girl is even real to begin with. In a post in which he asked for help related to Social Security, it's revealed in the comments that a female acquaintance of his, potentially Abby, since we know her to be disabled to some extent, is under threat of having her supplemental security income taken away, and it's a possibility that she might get kicked out of her home and have all of her contact with the outside world cut off. Because of his experience with Abby, Chance grew more comfortable with the concept of being special needs himself. As we can see, near the end of October, he started to call himself a special needs artist and was considering making a YouTube docuseries about what it's like.
That's actually a really good... That's the first good idea I've seen this guy come up with, man. Just be, like, actually, like, play to your strengths or your weaknesses, which could be your strengths, man. That's literally, like... actually not a bad idea. Why doesn't he follow through with
Ultimately, this didn't pan out, and he gave up on music to pursue a career as a digital artist and painter. A little while after, on Halloween, he posts a poem about PTSD, which seems to be written by him since there's a lot of odd syntax going on, and the rhymes are something straight out of Dr. Seuss. But it seems this time, Chance made the effort of putting the thing through a basic grammar check. Somehow, after retiring from music to pursue a career as a visual artist, he became successful as an author.
It just gets worse and worse. I was going to look at the PTSD thing, but that would have really vexed me because I've got PTSD, so I don't want to hear his flipping babble over it. What's this next turd sandwich? He wants to be an author as well. Dude, I write, and even if you had, like, you like, people can't even edit your writing yet. It's that bad. Like, you couldn't get anyone to edit into a book. It'd be impossible. It'd be like decrypting an ancient language.
Most of his laments the lack of someone to celebrate his success with. Despite no longer being a musician, he dedicates a song of his to the military.
You guys have my full respect, not only as an own breath.
Yes.
He then publishes more poems about samurais, lack of someone to celebrate his success with. Despite no longer being a musician, he dedicates a song of his to the military.
You guys have my full respect, not only as an own breath.
He then publishes more poems about samurais and other things that look a lot like they're not his, and proceeds to become a professional photographer. As he grows stir-crazy and mad from not having a computer to play around on all day, quietly returns to making pottery, though I should specify that it is micro-pottery. That's right, vases that are just 5 to 10 centimeters tall. I don't really know what led to this development, but I think he must have found some vase designing app on his phone that allowed him to simulate how much it would cost to make them. He claims to have sculpted and painted them by hand when they are visibly in a 3D program. He then makes a post complaining about how other people have it easy and he doesn't, despite being unemployed and living for free, making 216.mp3 tier music all day. Poetically, his next post is about how good he is at playing GameCube. Finally, his fury scabs over, and he decides to quit his artistic aspirations to become an assassin. One man by the name of Hunter makes
No. This can't be real. Like, One, like, why would you advertise like openly that you're on a... No, that can't be real.
Terrible mistake of commenting under Cyraxx's post saying this: "I don't mean to be the asshole here in this situation, but your whole argument could be used against you. Besides that, I could be a bigger asshole and say you're bitching about others bitching. My point here is listen to yourself and people you care about and block out the annoyances, otherwise they'll drag you down and make you one of them." Little did Hunter know, Chance was not the one to take constructive criticism lying down, and his immediate response was to express himself via his music.
I seen your little comment, dude. And you know what? I got something figured out.
Sorry guys, it's like this, my beard, I've got this big beard, and underneath this, with the headphones on top, man, it gets like really itchy.
Take constructive criticism lying down, and his immediate response was to express himself via his music.
I seen your little comment, dude. And you know what? I got something figured out.
Yeah, let's get it, Cyraxx.
I see you looking like a little mother. Acting like you got a mother. Stop me, dude.
Eventually, he came around to address what Hunter, along with many other people, told him, which was that he should just let go of being mad and move on. This was Cyraxx's brilliant response.
See, I get what you're saying, that I don't need to listen to people. And I'll admit, you know, you're right about that to a certain extent. But what you fail to realize is what I deal with every day.
What you fail to realize?
You see, I'm not like you. I can't
I'm not like you.
just up and walk away from it all whenever
I can't just walk away from this.
I feel like. I can't do that. It's not that I don't want to, it's that I can't. Because
It's not that I don't want to, it's just that I can't.
unlike you, I'll go through a lot more than you could ever imagine, boy.
Okay, that's fair, I'll agree with that.
Unlike you, I was born with one kidney, 1.5 functioning lungs.
I can believe
I was
that.
born 1 pound 12 ounces of was not supposed to live. Every fucking day, I face death in the face and say, "F you."
Initially, you could almost feel sorry for a guy being this screwed up from the get-go, but seeing how much he uses this for an excuse for his poor behavior and to self-aggrandize, the pity wears off pretty quickly. If that minute or so was enough to be slightly annoying, let me tell you that the original live stream that clip came from is 40 minutes long, and Cyraxx just repeats himself for the entirety of it. To make things worse, he releases multiple nearly hour-long streams right after about the same guy. This just shows how easily trollable Chance was. All it took was a few meager comments and he was bent out of shape and responding for days on end. After finally getting over Hunter, he goes back to blatantly lying for no reason. "I am officially pissed at myself. I was playing World Series poker tournament on my Kindle for real cash, and I fucked up on the last round on my last move and lost a shot at the prize of $125 million.
Shut up, man. You're... Shut up.
I'd be officially pissed at myself too." Nearing the end of November, he finally gets a new computer to do his streams on, and changes his name to Virus. Very cool. His comeback to making music included becoming the co-founder of a record label called Bloodshot Records, of which he was one of the main artists. Years after it happened, he revisits the old drama regarding Eric Scrubolo and Killa Clown Sounds, only to claim that people were stealing from him and that Scrubolo was underpaying him and mismanaging all of his artists.
He's just not paying you because your music's not making money, mate.
According to Cyraxx, Eric was stuck in the past, unlike himself, who was always ahead of the curve. He also says that he thinks he's owed money due to the Killa Clown Sounds Facebook page having 1,000 fans, all the while conveniently glossing over the fact that he was kicked out of the label from stealing from Eric. But failing to understand how business works is not a talent that Cyraxx reserves for the music industry. He also raves at book publishing companies for asking $1,000 from him to publish this garbage, as if publishers should promote his work for free. The man of the hour closes...
$1,000 is pretty good, man. That's pretty generous. Like, I don't like. That's a good price, like, to publish something. I don't know what he's going on about. Like, who's gonna want to read your bab? The only reason I can see people reading it is like a case study in like some sort of like obscure university in India or something.
The year off with a picture of him next to a gigantic Reese's cup. Very tasteful. While he spent the beginning of the next year trying to grow his label and add as many artists to it as possible, because he thought that's what it meant to run a label, he apparently was reacquainted with a man named Tanner, who'd approached him 2 years prior, claiming he worked for Tech N9ne's label, Strange Music, and offered him a $1.1 million contract for his beats. After warning everyone not to fall for his tricks, he made this endearing post. "When you're awake at 4 a.m. and can't sleep, so you hop onto Adventure Quest 3D with your best friends who you've known since 08, shit gets real. Awkward and funny in seconds. Lol." As much as he does extremely unlikable things, I'm almost beginning to empathize with him in the same way one would empathize with a screwed up rescue dog. Except this rescue dog is like kind of a heinous, horrible human being. Not satisfied with every skill he's already mastered, Cyraxx enters the website game and claims he's now working on a social network like Facebook and MySpace combined. It's inspiring to me how courageous he is for posting this on Mark Zuckerberg's platform with no fear of having his cutting edge code stolen from him, especially given Mark's track record. He quickly grows tired of the web dev hustle and gets into professional gaming, saying he should be getting paid for being as good as he is on Call of Duty Black Ops.
Bro, no. You got a KD ratio of that, like, it does...
Almost as if divine punishment for his misdeeds, Cyraxx goes to the doctor and discovers he has shrunken an inch from 5'3" to 5'2". Soon after, a similar situation to that of Hunter happens, with someone making the following criticism of Cyraxx's music in a comment section. People are going nuts for no explainable reason. I'm afraid it's just not decent. The rhythm of the lyrics is dreadful. The auto-tune actually hurts to hear, and the vocal mixing is terrible. Can barely hear you. And there's been no decent mixing done on the vocals at all. It's flat and dry other than the auto-tune, which, as I said, is terrible. Too many people lie to you to make you feel good. I refuse to do so.
That was really good, honest criticism, and I bet he took it in the worst way possible.
That someone was honest with him as opposed to just complimenting his stuff. Cyraxx decided to make a live stream responding, but not before he wiped his dirty teeth with his tank top right at the beginning of it. For once, it seems Cyraxx is actually upset instead of miming what he thinks a rapper or WWE wrestler would say when challenged. Once he begins his routine of belittling those who criticize him by saying he's gone through more, his critic says that he works full-time to support a family, and on top of that, as part of a metal band that has more fans than Cyraxx, which he visibly struggles to respond to meaningfully. For once, our champion is shaken, taken aback by the words of his naysayers. But like all things, Cyraxx forgot about it soon after due to his goldfish-like attention span and returned to playing his racing game while pretending on Facebook that he was an actual racer in real life. Once again trying his hand at selling the custom cars he made in-game, he tried contacting an actual art publishing company over email and got immediately dismissed for how ridiculous and worthless his customs were. While there was never and continues to be no chance for Chance to become famous for his music, his incessant Facebook posting, along with his responses to anyone who dared to criticize him, we're seeing an increase in engagement. His fame is a lol cow.
I'm not gonna lie, like, Chance is a good name for him, because there's a chance that he wouldn't even have survived like birth. I'm not even being flippant or crass, like, I'm being serious. Like, Chance actually suits him as a name, because, I mean, like, I believe him on the whole 1.5 lungs and 1 kidney thing, because I mean, like, look at him.
Once again trying his hand at selling the custom cars.
Again, I'm not bullying, I'm just like making observations, man. Like, I've got nothing personal. Actually, I do have something against the guy. He has done some heinous stuff, like, as Tom said.
Made in game. He tried contacting an actual art publishing company over email and got immediately dismissed for how ridiculous and worthless his customs were. While there was never and continues to be no chance for Chance to become famous for his music, his incessant Facebook posting, along with his responses to anyone who dared to criticize him, we're seeing an increase in engagement. His fame as a lol cow was taking his baby steps. He proceeded to join DeviantArt to sell his art pieces for $1 each and posted these nice images to showcase his ability to use photo filters. On the 23rd, he dropped another album called Blackout with a hue-shifted picture of Master Chief from Halo as the cover. Eventually, his ability to stream on Facebook was taken away, thankfully, supposedly due to a cover he made of a Linkin Park song on the harmonica. He then invents the deranged headcanon that record labels and studios from the 50s used to help artists for no pay, and it's unfair that the current ones won't do the same for him. He applies the same logic.
Bro, the reason why artists in the 50s, wait, what is he trying to say? Hold up, this is gonna really annoy me.
Song on the harmonica. He then invents the deranged headcanon that record labels and studios from the 50s used to help artists for no pay, and it's unfair that the current ones won't do the same for him.
That's because they were taking advantage, like, with the royalties and the ownership of the original recordings. That's why they weren't getting. That's why they didn't have to pay to get promoted. Like, and especially with African American musicians, they got completely taken advantage of, man. Like, they made huge record hits and saw next to nothing. They saw a pittance for what they did for the moguls. That's really annoying, man.
He applies the same logic to book publishers and announces a search for a company that will publish his works for free. Works, which apparently now include a high school manga based around his life, with yet another step being taken towards becoming Christian. March.
If someone did make a high school manga about, did I say that right? Manga? I don't know. If someone did make that about his life genuinely and did it in a tasteful way, that could actually kick off. Like, there's some gold, like, nuggets that of potential that are just, like, scattered amongst loads of crap, and, like, for some reason he can't seem to pick out the gold and then stick with it.
Which was void of any
He can't even stick with anything crap.
interesting activity besides the fact that, judging from Cyraxx's posts and Eric's comments on them, the two were back on good terms with each other. His ability to live stream was reinstated, much to the displeasure of his haters and the extreme pleasure of his trolls. Being the man he is, he makes a post complaining about having lost an ex-girlfriend of his to a supposed friend. By the way, said ex-girlfriend has a cat that appears to have Cyraxx syndrome in the eyes. His account is once again placed under threat of suspension or ban due to his continued covering of songs, and I'm pretty sure it's because he plays the actual songs during his streams, and you can intermittently hear them unedited in the stream's audio. Cyraxx claims his videos were getting almost 4,000 views, which is an absolute lie. Due to him reconnecting with Eric Scrubbelow, he's given the opportunity to perform at a live venue on the 21st of June, though it would be free admission. Still,
That's gotta just be for the lols. They can't be taking him seriously.
well, that's better than performing metal Evanescence covers for 5 viewers on a Facebook Live. However, just a month later, it starts looking like his relationship with Eric is once again on the fast track to self-destruction, since Cyraxx continues not to understand that his music needs to profit anything in order for Eric to pay him. In the middle of May, it looks like Cyraxx got the hang of using cheap online publishers to release his music digitally. Meanwhile, we see one of the first signs of what would eventually come to be Cyraxx's downfall. It appears he had been catfished by someone by the name of Lewis, who accomplished the probably not extremely difficult task of tricking Cyraxx into showing his member to him by pretending to be a girl who was fallen for his irresistible riz. Then Lewis proceeded to use the intimate image of Cyraxx to blackmail him into doing something that we're unaware of. However, when Cyraxx took to Facebook to warn people of this, he pretended he was hacked, and that's how Lewis got those pictures of him in the first place. And it would happen many other times in the future, but we'll get to that eventually. June starts out on the wrong foot, or rather, the infected foot, as Cyraxx finds himself in a fight for his life against an infection on his toe. He doesn't break his stride, however, as on the many other times in the future, but
my thumb was on the screen.
we'll get to that eventually. June starts out on the wrong foot, or rather, the infected foot, as Cyraxx finds himself in a fight for his life against an infection on his toe. It doesn't break his stride, however, as on the very next day, he makes a post humble bragging about how a bunch of girls want to be with him now just because he's rich and famous, despite the fact that he's neither of those things. A few days later, we hear the bad news that Cyraxx's live concert has been canceled, supposedly due to people not getting the dates right. That's a very weird reason for him not to do the concert, so I'm presuming he's leaving out some part of the story here, or the concert was never going to happen in the first place. He channels this anger into making a diss track on Donald Trump and creating a new YouTube channel called Gamerzone, for which at least one of the logos was stolen directly from a rap battle channel called GZ Battles. Somehow, despite having his concert canceled and making rigorously no money from his music, he makes a post to his Facebook saying the following: "Producers and companies might hate me, but later today I will be revealing and exposing live on Facebook how to avoid producers who want $50+ for one beat, and how to become self-successful in music on your own with no—"
Wait, what are you on about, bro? Are you complaining because producers want $50 a beat? That's cheap, my bro. Like, I know a producer, yeah, and like he can get hundreds, like, or if not thousands for a beat. You idiot! What are you on about, bro?
label backing whatsoever, and showing you how most artists these days can make it with zero money and not have to spend a single dime to just do it how I did it.
You actually can nowadays. Like, you can make beats with AI easily. The problem is he can't do anything else. Like, he just can't sing. He can't rap. Like, oh god.
Great tips are a list of free music making apps, and he never gets to the point about how exactly to make money out of using them. On the 22nd, due to whatever caused the concert to fall apart, Eric and Cyraxx were back at odds, as the latter dropped a video attacking him.
And you might think I suck? Well, dude, if I suck so bad, why is my music up on Spotify? Why have I been Reverb Nation's #1 artist from 2010 up to this year? So, I guess...
I can't even do it. That's enough for me for today, yeah? You've been locked into Nuclear Reaction Faction. Check out the other parts. Check out my other content. Subscribe for more, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.